Stream to Twitch. Sometimes I think it's funny to look at my stream on Twitch because it's like I know it's going to be the one working. YouTube is the one that has problems. Yeah, look, it actually works. Oh, and it's nice and convenient.
How convenient.
How convenient. Honestly, I was thinking about playing a game in the background. I don't know. I could just yap without the game. The game honestly would be more distracting to me than it would be helpful, but do you remember the topic that you want to talk
I
about?
wanted to talk about intentions.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I forgot to separate do link trees as a different point. There we go. Okay, sorry. Like I was just pulling up my notes and I was like, oh wait, do link tree is different note. I put on the same note. Yeah, intention. So what do you mean by intention?
Well, intention is a funny little thing. And when I say that, intentions as a verb and intentions as opposed to being intentional as an adjective, right? I
Mm.
think that there is a cultural gap, um and it's not even a class thing. It I think it's more western culture in general just lacks intention. um I was thinking about this after watching some of your shorts earlier,
Mm.
where you were talking about um kind of being in the passenger seat of your own life. And it's like, man, living your life intentionally regardless of the factors around you can really like change that mindset, in
Mm.
my opinion. um and so it kind of broke my heart a little bit, like listening to that, and it feels like maybe perhaps you haven't you haven't always given the fair shake of things to be intentional, right? Not
Mm.
that you yourself are not an intentional person, but also the result of living life not intentionally
Mm.
can be reflected in the people we play games with, what happens in the world around us, the unintended consequences when we don't intentionally look at the extended features of any given action, policy, or inaction. What happens if I don't do these things, right?
Mm.
I have to be intentional as a homeowner to pick up after myself. If I get bugs in, I get bugs, and it's going to take years to get bugs out.
Years or a significant amount of money and investment.
All of the above.
Yeah. Honestly, which is really interesting, kind of when you bring up the living in passenger seat and things like an intention. I think what's really weird about it is that I've not necessarily met a person to properly, um, I guess, like understand what it's like to have some idea of a internal locus control while also just living in the passenger seat in the same way as I do. Because like part of the idea is that like because like the problem that like I feel is that like there are things I want to get done. There are expectations that has been set upon myself from either myself or other people, or I've set my expectations on myself because of other people, and things like that happen, and you aren't able to achieve those set expectations, then it's like, especially because of a lot of these things aren't necessarily things that I control very well. Um, which is a really weird thing to think about where it's like I think that like even if you don't control things you can still live life with intention, and that's kind of like what I try to do is that like I'm not trying to pass an impenetrable barrier of like I'm gonna win against my problems. I've already tried that for long enough. Like I remember when I first really started to get into like wanting to do first getting into like self-help content on YouTube was in 8th grade of high school. And I was like, I really want, like, I just don't have enough motivation. I'm gonna push past. I'm going to fight the problem where it's at. And the thing is that first thing, when you don't know your enemy that you're fighting against, and you're just trying to outstrength them, if you don't know if you don't know its strengths, it doesn't matter. Like, um, it would be like in wrestling, if somebody who can kind of like they're strong, they can maybe bench a lot, but in comparison, maybe their forearms not as good as maybe some of their other muscles. In comparison to wrestling, you like your forearms can be really important for keeping a hold on somebody's arms. So maybe like trying to fight them without trying to do anything, like without trying to understand, what is happening, then it's like you might just like be like, I can outsmart them, I can just outstrength this opponent that but the problem that I've had is that like I've never been able to outstrength my own kind of opponent, or basically just the problems I have. But I remember thinking I just wasn't trying hard enough, which is not the case. Um, I think what was just really funny about it was the fact that like now I know is that like okay, what I'm trying to fight is something of the matter of being like things like ADHD and other problems. I can't fight a battle that is like not something that most people can win against. Like, it's not like someone's gonna be like, I'm gonna outwit my ADHD. I'm just gonna focus. I'm just gonna not lose sight of my things. It's like, no, 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 no. It's not how you win against ADHD. It's not how you win against the problems that you exist. You have to manipulate your surroundings. You have to manipulate your like. It's kind of funny because like you actually have to build your intentions, which I think is a really funny thing that you kind of talk about with intentions. That like if you want to take control of your life from the passenger seat, you can't think of it as if you were in the front seat. You have to understand it from being the passenger seat. You have to understand it from being not in control. And so that's kind of how I shape my life is that like I understand that my mind itself is fragile. I understand the cycles that life goes through where it's like I understand the times that like my mind is saying that like I want to give up, and I understand that there's going to be a time where that's going to be not be the case, where there's going to be 1 week that I wake up and being like I actually don't want to, and I understand that. And do I want to follow either one? Not necessarily. I don't really care which one I follow. It's more momentary basis. But the thing is, I understand it to be a cycle. So if at any moment I planned for kind of both cases, is that like if that moment doesn't come early enough, I'm okay giving up. But if that moment comes, then like I have things prepared, I have plans ready, I have these things that are at the whim. So it's like it's almost as if like I am taking the control, the very minimal control I feel like I have, and I'm actually using it, which is I think more than like I used to. But it's also because the more I understand myself, the better I can do said things. So that's why like I plan like different things around myself. It's like do I like part of like hey, do you can't like if it's hard for you to get yourself to do something you want to do, then getting yourself to do something you don't want to do is going to be even harder. And so like there's times where I won't fight myself and be like I don't want to do this. I'm not going to fight myself on that. Um some things like obviously it's like oh like I don't want to go do yard work. It's like well sometimes I'll do that, but when it comes to longer tasks, when it's like I actually don't want to do um a long task in which like longer tasks that might take um or like infinitely maintainable tasks like okay you have to just maintain this continuously, kind of like a garden. I don't think I'd ever really want to start a real garden. I think maybe I'll have a couple plants, but the task of maintaining a garden is not something I want to do. And so like the idea of having to do that over and over and over again is not something I would do. And so like I kind of plan around things like that. Where it's like, okay, how do I get myself to do things that I want to do? Also things I don't want to do. So it's like, okay, plan for things around it. Do I have to do the things I don't want to do forever? I don't think I could do that. So then how do I make it a short thing that I don't have to do all the time? But it's kind of a side tangent, kind of on topic. But I think that like kind of going back into the way you talk about like other people as well as their like intentions and how people might not use their intentions. I think that even the way that I look at my own use of like my own intentions, the way I think about things, the way I try to like craft things, it seems that other people who don't do the same, which is really weird because like I don't think less of people who don't do the same. It's I almost think it would be nice if I didn't have to do the same thing. Like it'd be nice if like I could just live life so easily to not have to do the same thing to where it like doesn't feel like necessity to actually do said thing. But it also means that some people who don't do it probably should do it. It also doesn't mean I don't. I probably should do it more than I do now, but
Yeah, because like it's not always like you said about trying harder, but sometimes there is a diligence that has to be built, like a tolerance, like how like not dissimilar to going to the gym,
hmm
right? And doing strength training or cardio training, you know, for me, I had to push my limits in order to survive because I got tossed out at 21,
hmm
20. So like I didn't have an option. I didn't have good close friends that I could like room with, and none of my other family members would house me.
hmm
So like I didn't have a chance. I got thrown to the wolves and said sink or swim.
hmm
Enjoy, Darman. Um, and so I had to build everything from scratch. I was medicated from the age of 13 to 18, and as soon as I turned 18, I was like, okay, there's going to come a time where I can't have medication because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
I just knew that was going to be a reality for me,
Can
right?
I ask what type of medication this being? My guess is mental medication, but is this being stimulant or
A
um?
stimulant. It was
Okay.
Adderall XR.
Oh, okay.
This is like 13 years ago now. But yeah, it's so I had to build my entire life to be able to facilitate the fact that I did not have the same level of focus as other people. And I made sure my bosses all understood that walking in the door. I said, I will do my job and I will do my job very well.
hmm
Don't ask me to do anything outside of my job. Because as soon as you throw off the mojo, if the mojo gets thrown off mid shift, like
hmm
that can take me days to recover from. You're going to get several bad days from me.
Yeah.
Um, and it's unfortunate. I don't want to like throw away several days of work. Um, and if it's bad, if like sometimes it gets bad enough that I'll call in sick, say, boss, I need a mental health day, because if I walk in the door today, I'm going to do dog shit, and I know it. So I'm going to try and save you, save me.
hmm
Sometimes they understood. Other times they said, get your ass in here.
Yeah, which doesn't always help because it's either A, you push yourself more than you should have and you get stuff done that day and you burn yourself out later on, or you don't do stuff that day, which is,
Yeah, like for me, it was like it really just depended on the day.
hmm that's
But
fair. Yeah.
and that's why like I've kind of been like pushing against you the last couple times that we've talked, because it's like it's not like you make excuses for yourself. You It does, however, feel like you explain away some behaviors, and some behaviors get explained away, as opposed to saying, "Hey, I have a low tolerance or a low endurance for these things."
hmm
Like, how can I build that endurance, right? And you worked that health job for all it was worth, and it was soul crushing. It
hmm
Work is hard.
Yeah.
Work is hard. It is hard to stay employed in this current environment that we live in the this nuclear computer age that we're in.
hmm
It's hard enough to just maintain base level employment. I see that. I recognize that.
hmm
Um, but at the same time, it's like we try all these things, and and obviously this is me speaking as an outsider in your life, right? Like,
Mhm.
we might be close at small talk, but like, I don't know you. I know a lot about you, but I don't really know you yet.
Mm. I think it's fair because I guess to kind of like bring back up of the ideas that were given was I do, and I think this kind of goes back to like just like what I do a lot is I will intellectualize everything in that sort of sense because
It's
that
almost debilitating
it
because
is.
it doesn't allow you to actually ruminate and feel some of it.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny thing because of the when I used to do I because I used to do this a lot more was just kind of feel things, not just to ruminate, but more of just like feel it. It's actually when a lot of my problems kind of cease to exist. Like when I started to just not like it's weird to think when like I used to hate myself, used to think myself as a as because I never felt like a person during that time, but I used to at least target myself like a person. Now I still don't target myself like a person like I used to. It's like there is no hatred towards a self because I don't simply there's not a target to target anymore, um, which is a really weird thing to think about because like I can't imagine being like I hate myself like I couldn't like imagine a target for that to ever be in a sense of that, but a lot of that came from just feeling through the pain. I think a lot of it was just like hey I'm just gonna sit down and feel through it, but I still try to do that, and I do that with some of my more painful things where it's like breakups and things like that. Like my most like recent ones, like I will sit through those things, but I still will apply logic to it. I will still be like, yes, I'm going to sit through these things so that I can get past them, and I will understand that like let me see the boundaries of sitting through these things. Let me see what I can get through it. Like I will intellectualize knowing that the limits, or I try to intellectualize the limits of intellectualizing, but also try to intellectualize the things about when I don't intellectualize. And so it's like I'm doing it. If I'm not doing it directly, I'm doing it indirectly and trying to figure out these things. But I think part of the reason why I kind of like I think it's you pointed out something really well is like sometimes like you didn't I think you said this well where you didn't say I was making excuses for these things but I was kind of intellectualizing or explaining why I do certain actions and even now I'm technically doing the same thing which is really funny but in a lot of sense I I've noticed that like sometimes a lot of people will be like you need to do this you need to do that you need to do this and what I do is that like I start to intellectualize things to solve the problems and I think what's really funny about it is that there's a lot of actions that I should be doing and trying to fix and I've kind of like was like you know I'm just gonna let it be the way it is for right now and just figure out these other problems instead problems that aren't necessarily important, but necessarily, or the ones I want to conquer, which aren't necessarily the most important. But um, the problem with intellectualizing, though, is it causes the problem of like maybe I can learn from problems. I'm just not going to do it because I'm busy trying to intellectualize it, but also trying to, um, or also thinking that I can't. It's kind of like a lot of times, like some of the things that push past my boundaries are, especially for intellectualizing, are things that require you to just not intellectualize. Like you can intellectualize how to, or you can just think in logic way to like what is the best, most effective way to learn language. But you can't just apply said logic to get yourself to be able to be fluent in said language. You actually have to put the effort in, and so you actually have to go past and experience it, which I think has been a very interesting lesson for the past um, almost 3 years which is really funny because even though I still have problems with it, I still think it's funny because like in some areas I learn a little bit. But
Well, that was what I wanted to talk about, was intentions. And
yeah, I think
uh,
we can probably get
what do
into
you
the.
want to talk about tonight?
I think intention's kind of a fun thing to talk about. I kind of like, lost track of what I would want. I probably want to talk about, but um, which it doesn't really matter. I can always like try to find a new topic, but you kind of intrigued me with the way that other people live through intentions because the way I see a lot of people's intentions with video games, this kind of goes back into competitive game conversation where it's a lot of people will play games, and it confuses me when like, and this kind of reminds me to a story that the me and my sister had. It was like I was wondering, I was like, why are you trying to learn an instrument unless you were trying to put yourself unless you were going to go all in, why learn it at all? And I think that's I had that problem back when I was younger, but then I quickly learned that it was not necessarily the intention that, or it's not necessarily a great idea. Where it's like, oh, if you're going to learn anything, you should learn it to the best of your ability. It's like, no, it's fine to learn things halfway. It's like it's actually nice to learn something a minimal amount because it's like, you get to know a small thing, like let's say the term Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Takotsubo, which I believe is the name, which is I believe a Japanese name. Cardiomyopathy, I believe, is a weakening of the heart. So myopathy, cardio obviously being the heart, and myopathy being, I think, weakening, maybe weakening of the muscle. And like specifically, like I didn't go to medical school. I didn't learn a bunch of these things, but specifically learning that one term has not brought me any sort of, strength in any area. It's just been more fun, and I quickly have learned that like having like just being like, oh, just having fun with certain things can be very very fun. But kind of going back to with video games is that I've just noticed a lot of people who it's this weird, and I don't understand people with weird intersections with video games where it's like and this is part of the problems. I don't understand the experience. I understand that more logically, but I don't understand the experience of like they want to play the video game. They want to play ranked, but they don't want to rank. They don't want to do the things to rank up. They just want to play ranked. And then I just kind of see people do
Right.
it over and over and over again, which is more than just like I'm just gonna play the game, act as if I'm getting better. Which some people do that. Like there's kind of levels to it where it's like some people want to play ranked. They like the idea of ranking up, but they don't do the things to rank up. And it's like if you like the ideas to rank up, and you're playing ranked, then like in like other than just playing for fun, because like a lot of people sometimes will be like, I play ranked for fun. It's like I think that's masochism, but that's not necessarily the problem. I don't have a problem with masochism. I have a problem with like I want to rank up. I'm playing ranked, but I will not do the things to rank up. But
Yeah.
which kind of gets me into also it's weird because it kind of comes back to the weird competitive video game things because like a couple of people like I'm just gonna say his nickname Pat, which is really funny, but I don't think it really matters about. I don't think I've doxed this guy. I know where he lives. I can state that, but I won't. Um, but in comparison for him, what's really weird about it is I remember a couple years ago, him and one of his friends and two other people were like, okay, let's have this competition of who gets to plat first, and in the game League of Legends, and so plat
Mhm.
is kind of like for nobody listening because there's nobody listening other than us. Plat is above the kind of average being gold. A lot of people get into gold. Gold is around the average. You can be like within some like silver and above that to be still considered average, but plat is slightly above that, so it's like still I believe considered average. I'm not sure if it's still considered average now, but
Above average,
yeah.
definitely.
And so what's really interesting about it is that like I remember like doing a lot of research towards how do you improve at things in general. There was great videos by Veritasium. There was the two parts of the mind, not two parts of the mind, two systems of mind, or I forget exactly, but the fast mind and the slow mind, and I forget who coined the term which is funny because they bring it up very often. Very often is in like every couple of months. And then there was another one talking about like how this one I remember this one guy who's memorizing the terms of pi, and he basically used that Veritasium, the older Veritasium video, to then apply and use it, and like the newest Veritasium video about it, I think it was actually still a couple years ago now, is about like, how do people become masters, and I think it's a very interesting one because like I have like seen those things. I've talked to people who are a couple of friends who are like higher ranks in terms of video games. I've talked to like a couple of other people online, but mainly it's been a lot of like watching and kind of like doing these research things. What's really weird about it is that Pat, for somebody who was like for a time worse than me, at now I'm definitely way worse than I'm worse than I used to be at League of Legends, but I don't really care. But like for the time where he used to be worse than me to now surpassing me to the point of where he's Emerald, it's like it's weird because he's done none of those things to ever practice. He's never really like put that effort in to get to a point of where like there's no intention to sit down and VOD review in the same way that I would think is what I would do. It's like, okay, you need a VOD review. You need to maintain, and the big thing is that you need to um VOD review, but you also need to have one intention you're going forward with. Like when it comes to like even drawing, like the skills of drawing for different video games, they do the same thing. I remember there's a really good Brawlhalla video talking about the same thing. Um, about like VOD reviewing. I remember watching a lot of League of Legends content on it. I'm watching Rocket League content on it, and it's all kind of like VOD reviewing. You need to like have you need to have one thing that you're trying to practice and focus on that for a time, and then like kind of bring that as a fundamental. You need to practice fundamentals, and yet like people like Pat, he just gets to Emerald. I'm like, you know, I don't understand that. Like because like in my brain, you have to have that intent. You have to actually do those things to get those places. And this could be one of two things. Pat is either more exceptional in sort of sense where just like he could just get there because he wants to get there without doing the intended practice above other people, where it's like instead of like other people like having to do it, he just doesn't care, he could just do it. Or I'm overestimating the ideas of VOD reviewing towards improvement, both of them I definitely think could be a case to be made. But it's just weird to see that he just didn't really have that super intention of getting better in that sort of sense. He definitely wanted to get somewhere. He wanted the idea of getting somewhere, but he didn't have that full intention to like, I'm going to go VOD review and I'm going to practice doing these things. He just kind of played the game.
Yeah, and I think some people learn through the iterative design of the game,
Mhm.
because I know I remember when that challenge was issued and both of those players were looking at everything from stats to they were doing some guide work. VOD review was not VOD review was how Cool Dude got there.
Yeah.
Pat played a raw game.
Yeah. So the
So
the
I think there was better accuracy by one, but I don't think it's wrong to like I say accuracy as if it's chess, and it kind of is,
mhm.
but.
But I will say that challenge has been done many times before because this is even before we knew Poe and before because this is back in 2024 2023 time period when Pat made that challenge with a completely different person before we knew Poe.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the other time was, and he did this before he even surpassed um I think he was still bronze at that time, and he kind of like he ranked up relatively quickly. I think that he was better than I think there was something holding him back, and he finally learned something because he went from silver to emerald really quickly, like to the point of
You
where
know what it
it's
was? Garen abuse.
Yaren abuse, or he also like used a lot of Mordekaiser, which could be the case, or maybe it's just the champions he played. Maybe he chose better champions. Which in my heart of heart, I think because like I kind of have like just hope. I think what Pat was doing for a time was sandbagging to the point of where not intentionally, but in some areas he would sandbag. And after a while, kind of just was like, like kind of a Grok Lee, just took off the weights and was like, all right, time to actually go somewhere. And so he actually like kind of ranked up to that area to the point of where it's like, I think that like, especially the speed in which he got there, I think he had it in him the whole time. I just think it took him something to change what he was doing. Because it was really weird to see him go from like, okay, he's going silver, okay, sure, gold all of a sudden, and then he's in plat, and all of a sudden you're emerald already. Like that's not the way people rank up normally. Like unless you didn't play ranked a lot, Normally people don't rank up that quickly. Normally people sit in their rank for a time and then rank up like slowly. Sometimes people learn concepts that bring them from like one rank to another rank. Like a big one in Halo is like you could be good at shooters, but in Halo it's positioning and understand. Like it's basically like if you understand kind of like the map and positioning, it's like okay, are my teammates alive? Okay, where did one of my teammates spawn? If my teammate spawned here, that means enemies are probably in this area. That means I have to like do certain things. It's like certain things you have to think about. Which I've seen like when people implement that, it's like okay, like they all of a sudden like rank up really quickly in comparison to like other times where it's just like like getting small, like learning some of the small, like it's not small, but learning some of those ideas can make a very big difference, and getting used to those ideas can mean the difference between like full ranks. But in comparison, what I notice a lot for people is like they usually are just a lot slower. But it's weird because like Pat kind of had the same, not exactly the same, but a little bit of the same things when it came to Rocket League. He just kind of played the game, and he got to Diamond. And like I'm not gonna say I put more effort because he's played a lot more of the game than me, but when it came down to practicing, I was in my intentional practice was probably way more. While his like my intentional practice of positioning was way more, his practice over mechanics was way better. His positioning was still good, which there was a lot more passive practice, which kind of probably went along with the fact that he played the game a lot more and had a lot longer time with it. But when I played, I was really focusing on it. I think the only problem was is that I couldn't build enough skill quick enough. Like I could look at and observe more than I can build up the skill. And so like it didn't matter how much I knew how to practice. I couldn't just put, a month worth of work in a day. And so like I would actually have to just be patient with it, which I was not. So I didn't end up really progressing far. But it's just really funny because of the fact that like it just was like I ended up I believe highest rank being like emerald, like an emerald, plat in Rocket League and him being diamond. But in that sort of sense, I think it's just really funny to see where, um, like he's kind of had this sort of sense where it's like he didn't have to put as much effort in. He didn't have to have the same intention as I did when it came to video games. But it's also a completely separate problem that I have. I'm just naturally worse at I think video games than other people to the point of where to be on the same level of my friends who play casually, I had to put intention to it. Things like Brawlhalla, they play it casually, but there's a time where I would sit in just practice, and I would practice doing a bunch of different things. I would watch a bunch of different videos because I would just progress so much slower than other people. So I think that's part of the problem is that like I might need intention versus other people where they can just pass without that, but I need to put in that work to get there, like to those places.
I think that's true when it comes to education in the workplace too. There's some people
Mhm.
that just have geometry and mathematically driven brains,
Mhm.
and then there's others that are poets, artists of various sorts, or others are engineers. They engineers and mechanics, like the machines that speak to them, they can hear
Mhm.
shit that you can't. And part of that is practice.
Mhm.
Part of that is intentionally getting good enough to the point where nothing's going to escape them.
Mhm.
Um so it's like, you know?
Yeah, I
you
love when I
know?
lose my train of thought because I do the same thing. Sometimes like I'll like see like a random image on my computer, be like, "What am I thinking about?" I completely forget. Um, but
But it's the depth required for a specific task or objective
mhm.
definitely changes from person to person in terms of the effort required to achieve the desired outcome.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that like I think a very interesting way that I kind of look at it is what's really weird about it is the point of where like intention is really weird. I think a lot of people with probably with ADHD can probably like relate to this is having too much intention too quickly and too powerfully and then it fades away, but it means a lot less than people who could just kind of be consistent with it. Where like somebody like people who I've met, and this is not I'm not gonna kind of use ADHD as a term for this now, but people who I've met who go really hard into working out or go really, really hard into other things, even myself when I go really hard into certain things, um, because I'm not as consistent with it, my ability to progress is far less. And other people's ability to progress is far less. And a lot of it's like you should have intentions. You should want to get because like you can't get places without wanting to necessarily get there. You can kind of like it's kind of like mazes. You can meander about, but without any intention, you're gonna end up meandering in the same place over and over and over again. So you need at least some level of intention to get somewhere. But having too much intention I'm just gonna say it doesn't work for a lot of mazes. If it's a let's say this is a big maze, you actually have to like spend a lot of time. Too much intention may for some people burn them out. It's like I think that like it's not necessarily too much intention, but like for some people they're not able to sustain a minimum amount of attention to keep them going for a long period of time. They're only able to put in like for me sometimes it's like when I like play an instrument, it's usually like or even flip a ballad song, it's oftentimes it is a week of all right, this is what I'm doing, and I will put an intense amount of hours into it to where I get somewhere, but because I don't consistently kind of come back, I don't have like I'll sit down for like sometimes like, especially with ballad songs. Like I remember like one morning I was like I'm just gonna like spend 3 hours flipping a ballad song. Just like even though I should be in bed, even though I've been awake for whatever amount of time, I saw this one cool video. I'm gonna start flipping about. I'm gonna start learning a new trick, and to the point of where like I would take like 3 hours. Sometimes like some days it would be more. And like for other people, it'd be like that'd be a little bit too much. For me, it was like I need to do it, I'm not as consistently coming back to. I'm not like putting my effort back into it. The same thing happens a lot with working out. It's like for a lot of people who put a lot of intention towards working out, who don't sustain that intention, oftentimes they feel stronger. They can get to a permanent strength, but they don't necessarily get to higher goals. Things like the muscularity goals or strength based goals, where it's like, hey, is somebody's goal to lift their body weight? That's a pretty good goal for a lot of people. Let's say in bench press, it's like it's a pretty good goal, but for some people, like it's gonna be like for a lot of people, it can be relatively quick to get to there, just depending on a bunch of different factors. But usually, a lot of people who are in certain positions can kind of get there, especially people who are kind of like not overweight too much. Like if you're like even if you have more weight to you in a sort of sense where it's like if somebody is like at least below 200 pounds, oftentimes getting to be able to bench your own body weight can be a task that is not too far in the future versus somebody who wants to bench, let's say 225. Like like for me, I can there's probably been a time where I could have benched 225. I've just never attempted at the right times to bench 225. I've done it on Smith machine, which doesn't count because it's a lot lighter. Um, and I've done very, very close amount of weight to it. It's just the fact that when I attempted the several times I've attempted to do it, I was either already worn out from doing like 3 reps of 205 and kind of was already doing higher weights at that point in time. So I was already doing like 190 or one something, like high hundreds into the low 200s to the point where it's like I didn't have the energy to get to 225. More it was like after I kind of take a small break and I was like, I'm gonna try it. And it didn't really work out then. I also didn't like a warm up, which is not a good thing to do. But for a lot of people who want to get to that level of like 225, it's something that you have to put in more effort. You have to be consistent with it. It isn't just something that will come in for a lot of people, and even higher points after that, it's just not something you'd get. But when it comes to even physique change, a lot of people, it's like a lot of people who are um, skinnier can find a lot of physique change really, really quickly, especially because of the noob gains. But to get to a past those like noob gain like levels of physique change, like it's a lot more intention. You have to do a lot more to eat. But the thing is like you can't just intensely do it for a week. You can't just be like I'm going to start doing a bulk for 1 week. I'm going to be lifting every day and then stop. You have to be somewhat consistent with it, but that's easier said than done, especially as somebody who's tried doing the same thing. It's like it's easier for somebody to say, "Hey, you should be not as intense. It's better to be not as intense to not learn theoretically learn as much or do as much now so that you can have more of the tank for coming back. But I don't think that's as easy as some people might assume it to be.
Well, I feel like I'm robbing you by running out this early,
No,
but
you're good. You have your own
I
things to
I've
do.
been staying up. I've been staying up too late. It's been like 6 a.m. before I like actually clock out. So
Yeah, you probably need to head out, which is fine. I don't mind. I think that I can just continue yapping. I do appreciate you showing up though.
always a good time. Thank you for these reflections. I shall carry them to sleep.
All right.
How does that make you feel? I'm gonna
It,
fall asleep thinking
to
about you.
think about me. Thank you. I would like for you to think about me doing other things, but
Whoa, whoa. See, I I I walked into this. Anyway,
yeah. I can't stop myself.
bing bong.
Bing bong. Man. But I'm gonna continue that conversation about intention, which I think is really funny about it. It's just it's really weird to see. There's a hole in my shirt. There's a hole in my shirt. Um, it's really weird to see like the intention I put towards video games and never get anywhere, or the intentions I put towards other things, and it doesn't necessarily get anywhere. Which is just kind of the crux of like I want to get places, but I don't because I don't like have that time. The things that I actually get places in, are things that like I just kind of it's really weird to say half-assed those things, but relatively half-assed a lot of things actually get places, which I don't think is the thing to take. The idea of just half-ass everything. Um, it's part of what you need to do though. That there's probably a fuck. I lost the cap. Um, there's ants here. That's gonna annoy me. Um, I eat at my desk, which is not a good thing because it means that there's ants and I hate ants. But I just killed one on my desk. That means there's probably gonna be more because they track each other through their scent, which means if I get cinnamon now, I can probably to spread it around my desk. Or I should just stop eating things like a smart person. But um, I don't know why I do this to myself. But in that sort of going back to the conversation, it's like about the poison traps too. Yeah. Um, there's not too many ants. It's just notes like one or two, and it bugs me because I'm like I know it's my fault, but like I don't want to admit it. But I will have to deal with it before it becomes actually a big problem. But oh man. But going back to the intention thing, it's weird to think that like the conclusion that I can come up to is just half-ass some things, just like kind of like care about it a little bit. Which is kind of just the way that I think that some people might have to do certain things. Because like it reminds me of a lot of language learning. There's a style of Japanese learning called AJAT or all Japanese all the time. But AJAT is the I forget the not the abbreviation. I forget the exact the word for it, but when you abbreviate things, but then you read it out as if it wasn't abbreviated, as if it's its own term. Um, but in that sort of sense, that's a super intense way of learning Japanese where it's just like you kind of like everything that is not Japanese, you cut out from your life. Um, and I think that that is a crazy idea for many reasons, but um, I think that works for some people who can just continue on to that to the point where it's like they actually get somewhere. I don't think I have that in me, especially now. Even when I tried to learn Japanese before, there's just a lot that you have to go into it. I would say learning language requires a lot more effort towards it than a lot of other things. I think with ballad songs, I might get rusty with doing some tricks or whatever, but like when I pick it back up, I can continue on and on and on and on and on. A lot easier with that than learning language. Learning language is such a heavy task, especially the way that like if you're trying to like learn phrases, you can memorize phrases relatively easily. Memorize a bunch of different phrases, and you can kind of pick them up. You can lose them and pick them up again. Like I remember when I first learned hiragana, katakana, it's like I forget them now, but when relearning is going to be really quick. Um, Phrases, if I want to relearn phrases, it's going to also be relatively quick as well, to the point of where it's going to be like relearn some of the phrases I learned before, be quicker than before. But if you like really want to just learn a lot of phrases, you can kind of put those efforts in. Like you can kind of forget about it, leave it alone, come back to it, and you'll build up more and more. But for like fluency, which is this is more theoretical ideas from my end. I haven't done enough research in this area to feel confident in kind of explaining it, but generally a lot of it what you have to do with fluency is you have to interact with that language, and this kind of comes from Stephen Krashen with through comprehensible input. And so you have to be consuming the input from the you have to consume the language input that's comprehensible enough to where you are able to your mind is able to slowly but surely kind of understand it to the point of where you become fluent, where it's like all of a sudden now it's natural. Your brain hears it, it knows what it is, and it goes along with it. Uh, and so when it comes to things like that, I think to myself being like, you kind of have to put a lot towards becoming fluent. I think it requires a lot more to get somewhere. Because, like, if you're doing phrases, it's a little bit different. But if you want to become fluent without it was skipping, theoretically skipping the phrases, which most people will learn phrases, it's like, oh, okay, like, most people will learn some of the phrases. While I'm somebody who's stayed away from some phrases, I still have learned and memorized some words without necessarily sitting down and like, being like, oh, I understand what this means by just watching anime. I've actually like learned some of the words through like Anki before I've ever really come across them in animes, and so in that sort of sense, like, but I think I relatively avoid it way more than other people do. A lot more people who want to learn language tend to practice way more phrases and reading and things like that way more than I do. But which I just restated what I just said. But I think that like if someone were to take the same path as me or a bit more intense, you have to be way more diligent in your actions to become fluent. Um, because you will see yourself getting nowhere. While I think that like you will get places, but it doesn't matter what it looks like when you get places because it's not visibly easy. So like let's say for like battle songs, I remember when I started to do a couple of tricks and I'm like, I understand what I'm doing now. Which is really funny to think about where it's like, I'm still bad at tricks. I still take time to do tricks and it's like, okay, but from when I first started to now it's like, oh, there I've unlocked this weird thing. It's like, oh, I'm a step above before. While I think there's probably many steps I can get above from here, I'm now like, oh, okay, I have an ability to actually do some tricks, um, and learn tricks better. And so when it comes to learning language, like when you step up to those when you step up in that sort of sense, for me, I've noticed that it does a lot less. So like from let's say learning Japanese, I will watch anime or um, Japanese YouTube videos without subtitles, and it went from I'm just kind of like listening to gibberish to now I'm comfortable with the language. I wouldn't say I understand the language. I'd say I'm comfortable with the words. The speed nonsense, it's like, oh man, I understand. I can separate the words, but it's more of comfortable with listening to it and using my brain to try to understand what they're saying without being able to understand what they're saying through the words they're saying, but understand what they're saying through the context of the situation. So, um, in that sort of sense, because I'm able to do that, part of it's probably just learning to like be more used to just like watching people's visual actions, but also um, probably just being comfortable with the words themselves and not being too like disgruntled by not understanding what they're saying, but also it's like it's kind of like when I hear Chinese, I could definitely feel this novice era, like not era, novice feeling of like I don't know what like is happening. Like back in high school, the song Super Idol, the beginning part, I had memorized it a little bit on my own just because I was bored. So I was like, and so for a time I could be like Super Idol de Sharom Domeni dia Chenbajo. Like part of it's obviously the tones are off most likely, but in comparison, when I memorized that, it was just more fun. I didn't even know what it meant to the point where I even like did the Google Translate, and it's like, oh, I know what it means. To me, that was just gibberish. Super idol de shadow domeni da tian ba jiao dio wo domeni yao. I don't even know. I'm singing it again, but like to me that was gibberish. Part of it was gibberish. I know that because I didn't memorize all of it to the biggest extent. But some of the beginning parts was a little bit less gibberish, to the point of where even the Google Translate can translate what I said. And I was like, oh, it means like okay, even a super idol's smile isn't as good as yours, and like, but it's still relatively gibberish to me. Versus while Japanese, when I hear the language, it doesn't feel as gibberish as Chinese does. To me, Chinese or like things like Spanish, they just feel gibberish. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is like complete nonsense. While Japanese to me is again still nonsense. It doesn't feel as nonsensical to me as other languages I've not studied at all. But I think that's just I don't even need to talk about the intention at that point. I just think that's just where it's at. But kind of going back to it's like some of it like you need to just kind of get yourself up to the plate and just engage with it and not necessarily worry about it. I think this is where I don't know if it's my problem and I don't know if it's like maybe through school you can kind of get there where it's like, oh, like maybe in school it forces you to learn these things, you actually progress and grow and learn to the point of where you understand these concepts more and more and you don't have to worry about learning things on your own and it's whatever. But like even learning just like random things I've learned from watching Dr. K or reading some books, it's like a lot of what I had to do was just kind of like watch a lot of Dr. K, and read a couple of books to the point of and do a couple of, and do like even when I took like the into psychology class, I didn't find it too educational to the point because like I've already learned a lot of stuff that's more in depth to the point where it's like the parts that I was learning were more facts, less so of like concepts and ideas. But I think that like maybe school can give you that. It's also way more structured, so maybe instead of just progressing where it's like Dr. K talks about the same thing a lot over and over and over again, especially for his free content, you end up kind of like seeing the same thing regurgitated over and over and over again. Versus like maybe in school you actually see new information, so you actually progress faster. So maybe there's that. I do think that school doesn't necessarily work as well when it comes to trying to get you to fully consume ideas instead of just learn them for a test. Which again, I could be incorrect here, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who agree with the consensus that school does really well at teaching you for a test instead of being able to fully understand these things. This is especially true for kind of intro level classes and lower level classes. I highly doubt people who've taken intro psychology will be able to remember a bunch of psychological, you know, ideas. Like they could probably bring up all Phineas Gage, Pavlov's dogs, um, small things like that, or who Sigmund Freud was. But in comparison, um, like I think that maybe like someone who is more engaged with Dr. K has a more robust kind of like interaction because they're interacting with their own volition, but they're also um, more consistent with it. So maybe there's a lot that goes in. Not maybe there is a lot that goes into probably learning in that sort of sense, and not just learning from the sake of like from a how does learning happen, but learning in the sense of like how do I get myself to learn that information. I think there was a really interesting thing. There was a garage sale in my neighborhood recently. They were the whole like neighborhood has a garage sale, and like I went around with my dad. Usually he has a garage sale as well, but we kind of just didn't plan for it, and so we just didn't do it this year. And we kind of go driving around, and he's been playing golf recently, and so what ends up happening is that a lot more recently. What happens? There's a lot of people in the neighborhood who play golf, and so a couple of clubs. He looks at them, and the very interesting thing has happened. Like I've heard this thing before, but he was like, I don't think I should buy better clubs unless I'm a better player. Um, and there's obviously he knows the idea that like some sweet shots are better, and like you can actually like you might be better than before, or whatever. A lot of semantics, but this one person was like, yeah, but like if it gets you to continue to come back playing that might make the difference between you getting better and not getting better. It's like, oh, if buying a new club gets you to play more, maybe it gets you to like actually get better at the thing. Um, which I think is a very true thing to think about, like actually kind of progressing in that sort of area. It's like, hey, maybe needing some of these things actually gets you somewhere, but um, which is kind of an interesting one, but because I think that which is it isn't too far from the truth. But kind of going back into random other things. When it comes to education, I think it's really funny is that what I've noticed is that when I try to learn things on my own, even like read books, it tends to be very broken up. Um, like while I think motivationing was the most dedicated I was to a book to the point of where like I read most of the book in a timely manner in most cases. In other books I've read, like a couple of these other ones right here that one of my Freer and figures are on. It's like I think it's like Make a Stick and Sip. The other ones, Make a Stick and Cognitive Therapy by Judith Beck. Like those books, I ended up breaking up in between. Like sometimes I wouldn't read it for a month and I'd like start reading it again, which is not usually what you want. Like usually, not saying I want to do, but it's not usually what people do like intentionally. It's not like cause like it wasn't. I wasn't taking a break on purpose to like consume what I learned. It's just more of like I just kind of stopped, lost motivation, lost like just like remembering to do it. I don't really know. Um, and so it ended up just being like good months in between of not really reading and coming back to it. So maybe if I had more guidance, maybe I can actually learn more. If I actually just kind of remember to keep reading and actually finish the book or read more instead of just give up for a month and read it again. It's like take double, triple, quadruple the amount of time to finish a book just because I stopped reading the book, not just because I'm slower at reading, which is probably also the case. But you know, I think some of the textbooks you'll end up this is kind of itchy. Some textbooks you'll probably do that sort of thing where you will take time just to read something and it will be longer than other books just because you're having to put concepts together in your mind, which I think probably everyone has to do that. But um, I will say it is a kind of a funny thing to, I guess, kind of think about. I don't know. It's something that I think about probably more personally. In like, I do this a lot. Honestly, I've thought about kind of like this before. Um, and I'll probably go on and think about it a little bit more because I'm not gonna say I've exhausted all routes of conversation when it comes to the topic, but relatively, I've kind of exhausted the ability to like actually make meaningful conversation about it. I think. So at this point in time, it's I could continue rambling and be not say nonsensical, but just not have a point to what I'm saying and just be like talking just for the sake of talking, which is not bad, but it's just what they have to do. So I'm looking at video games just to see do I want to play because I was thinking about wanting to play a game like of Warhammer Bolt Gun, which is kind of a fun thing to just talk and like have in the background, which honestly I'll play. Um, I've been playing a little bit of that, and it's been kind of fun. Game capture, game capture. Okay, it should see it. Very cool. So this is Bolt Gun. Man, what a very cool and fun game. Options. Let's see. Gameplay, crosshair. I wonder it's not important display um give all weapons infinite. Oh, this is kind of funny. I didn't even know that was kind of a thing. Um I haven't completed the main thing, which I think that chapter select, I think oh, there is 3 chapters and I've not completed all of them, which is interesting. I'm just going to continue and just kind of go on rambling, but like you can taunt your enemies with T. I didn't know that. Oh, I'm kind of in the thick of it right now. I forgot I turned down the because I play this game trying to listen to people, and it's too loud and it distracts me and it annoys me, because like my brain just can't process all the stimulus of the audio. But like it's weird to just not have the audio kind of be here now. I should intend to turn up a little bit, but um gee, this game is kind of fun. It does make me want to play games like Ultra Kill a little bit more. Just because not a little bit more, just play games like play Ultra Kill just because the way that like it's a boomer shooter, you're kind of just like having arena like combat, but it's a little bit more. I actually don't know because I know Ultra Kill and then Turbo Overkill and Ultra Kill are kind of like the two games in the general genre that I think are a little bit more, I think, put together. Maybe once I play them, I'm like lying. It's like okay, so I just know that like you can get a lot better at them, have a lot more flow to it, instead of just kind of like doing this where you're just kind of running around, like you're just kind of dicking around, just like all right, I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I'm just gonna mess around. Because like right now, I'm not always using um different guns at maybe different moments. I forget to use grenades, and part of like that is you need to use kind of all of your. You need to get used to using your abilities because it's like if you don't, then you're gonna end up in positions where you're not able to deal with the enemy because you forgot to use your thing and you actually use it at a bad time. Like melee is a really fun one, but that's part of the problem where you just kind of need to just do like play the game a lot. And if you actually like, kind of like think about it, maybe use your grenade. Like there, I probably could have better throw my grenade or there because I'm being stupid. But I forgot I need to change this on Twitch. Yep. I might just play Deep Rock Galactic more. But let me see. Edit. We do bolt. That's not bolt gun. Dude, wow, that's crazy. Done. Cool. Does it change it? Yeah, it does. Cool. Um, but in that sort of sense, it's really funny because like I kind of like always kind of come back to just the idea of improving, and because like using all of your things in the proper way because there is a kind of a dash and you can kind of slow down with the melee, which I kind of bind it to Q, even though it's normally V, just because V feels out of the way towards me, like not towards me, for me. I don't know what I'm saying. Going crazy, Dio. But damn, it's such low health. I remember there's a health pack over there. I just don't know how accessible that is towards me. I think it's over here. Nope, I have no clue what I'm talking about. It's down here. No. Um, I guess I just don't. I guess I won't get health. That's right here. Right. But in the sort of environment of getting better, like I guess you have to get kind of used to the mechanics of like the game, or even just get used to everything. Even if you're trying to get good at things that are not like in a video game, like you have to kind of get used to the way things like feel, like and getting used to the everything around it. So then, whenever you need to actually progress and get better, you're able to actually focus on like, okay, maybe I need to actually learn to use my grenades more, and not necessarily kind of um, hold back on those things and be able to know when to use them. And which is something that I've noticed that I particularly don't do too well with, is like grenades because it's like usually a limited resource. I usually just don't use it. I forget about them all the time, which is kind of when I was playing Gunfire Reborn, which is kind of a good thing. It's like you need to kind of just use the limited things because they're there for a reason. They're there to provide you help. They're limited because they're powerful, and so that's why I don't like they don't just give you an infinite number of them. But there is a Terminator. But in that sort of same vein of like getting used to those things, is that like you get to like as soon as I get more used to the game, as soon as I get used to maybe like using like my dash or queuing at the right moment, because like these things like you can't necessarily melee in one shot, while some of the other ones you can. Maybe in harder difficulties. I'm playing at medium right now, and so it's not anything too problematic to deal with when it comes to difficulty wise and damage and health wise. It's just more of like I'm still not good at the game, so that's why I'm such low health. Where it's like maybe I'd be the better I get, maybe I'll just not have to worry about being such low health at such a low level of difficulty. But like in this sort of sense where it's like obviously I think when you have to melee minion or some of the smaller guys, these fellas, the more goon fellas, these guys, you might okay, because even that guy he didn't die in one melee, um, which is kind of funny. So like I do have to like hit them and actually intentionally plan that melee, but you do go slow, so I do understand the mechanic. I could just work with it, have fun with it, just like use it. Are these guys? He's over there. Isn't he? I kind of miss with that one, but it's so cool to see their like size difference. Cause like in Space Hulk Deathwing, like you don't really see that size difference of the Terminators, but this one you definitely see that size difference, um, which is nice. It's like, well, these guys are actually a lot bigger and they're a lot tankier and they're a lot slower, but yeah, that's kind of the point of the Terminator class. I don't know where the exit is, which is really funny. It's one of the problems with like this, the way I play this game is that like I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna just hope I find the exit because I have no clue where I'm supposed to be. And oftentimes, like I've retraced the map before. It's like, okay, I've gone back and forth to go nowhere. Is it over here? It probably is over here, or I'm going back to a place I was already before. Based on the fact that there's bodies here, my guess is that is the current case of what I'm doing. But this is probably another arena. Is it another arena? It is another arena. You know what? Let's go back here and just hope that I can find where I'm going. Um, but going back to getting better at things, I think a lot of my life is like wanting to get better at things. It's just like the part of the times you just have to put in the time to get better at things instead of just put effort in now. You have to be consistent. You actually have to be more than just hey, like I just finished it. You have to be more than just kind of sit here and intentionally input intentions one time. You have to continue to do it, which is like I think the bane of a lot of people with HD is like, oh yeah, I have to actually show up every day. What do you mean I have to show up every day? Or what do you mean I have to show up consistently instead of just one time? I can't do that as easily. And for some people with HD, it's like, you'll end up doing that for some things and not other things, which is fair. Like Dr. K, like I continue to show up to that, or working out, I show up to that often. Or it's like, it's just like, I'll just work out. Did I work out today? I'm no. Did I work out yesterday? Absolutely. And so, like in comparison, I do have my strengths, where it's like I do kind of come back to it, but I don't in this game. I don't think I'm gonna particularly get too good at much of anything, just because of the fact that I'm mainly just um, playing a little bit just for the sake of it's a fun game. And it's kind of like I think that's where some games I want to play, being just games that you kind of just sit here and not kind of give a shit. Games that aren't particularly hard, games that aren't particularly um, like too easy either. I think that's kind of like where I have some of the fun with like putting games on easy. Is that like if I want to get good or focus on this game, I'd want to do that. This is kind of just a game for me to sit down and just kind of like zombie out in, which is nice. It still brings my mind to want to get good. It's like wow, what would it be like if I actually got good? It reminds me of like Arkham. I think it's Arkham Knight. Um, so Batman Arkham Knight. Like I remember like seeing the videos of like how lore accurate Batman, like if he had preparation, like seeing just these people who have like insane number of hours in that game play that game, like Jesus, it's kind of the same thing that a lot of people want to do themselves. They're like, I want to get there. It's like, do you really like want to get there? And getting there is putting the effort in. Getting there is putting the days amount of the days in which like where it's like you have to show up multiple times. You can't just like show up one time for 15 hours just because you didn't leave your computer. You actually have to continue to show up over and over and over again. Like, do you actually want to put the effort in to get as good as those people in comparison, or do you just want to like look cool? And so I think differentiating between wanting to look cool, because like that's I can sympathize with wanting to look cool or wanting to feel cool. That's a big thing about video games is that sometimes you just want to feel cool when you kind of sit to play a video game. That's what I've noticed when it comes to a lot of video games. Is like I want to look cool and feel. I want to feel like I'm in like just the flow state, which I think is a lot of fun. I think that's what makes a lot of games really fun. Is like when you hit that feeling of being in flow state, you're like I remember Doom Eternal does this really well. Like after a while, once you play that game for long enough, you kind of feel like you're in the flow state of like even if you're not particularly good at the game, you definitely feel as if you're in the flow state when you are having to bounce around and do 20,000 different things in the air. But like I think that those games themselves are fun, and this is probably one level of that. And obviously, I think what Doom does really well is Doom's also a like it definitely is a modern feeling boomer shooter. Obviously, like its origins were a boomer shooter, so why would it not be? And I think it does it really well because it is really fun to get into that. What the? Did I even go up? I'm actually confused. What's oh? I just activated this. It just goes up and down, doesn't it? What is happening? You know, I confused myself for a second. I don't know what I'm doing. It really like just like messed up my brain. What happened here? What? Oh, maybe it like just went down for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's a glitch. I have no clue what was happening. But like getting in the flow state is kind of what makes a lot of games enjoyable. I think that's what a lot of people do when it comes to just like even like Elden Ring, like when like Elden Ring or Souls like games, when you actually go to like fight a boss and you like beat it, there's some states where maybe you're not as fully in that flow state, but you're focused, you're engaged, you're doing the right things. You don't have to be in the full, flow state. You at least have to get to the place where you understand the enemy. You feel it's kind of like where you're not just working based on like okay, here's what I have to do. You're almost naturally just at the I didn't have to do anything with that. You kind of just at the whim of your instinct, where it's like you don't have to worry about um, have to fully brain not working. Apparently, I'm not there yet. Apparently, with just talking and playing the game, but you don't have to worry about like having to really process too much information. Like the information you have to process is information you always have to process, but like you can just more naturally do certain things. So like I think it happens a lot for me at Deep Rock Galactic where it's like it's probably one of the games I played a bit more than other games where it's like hey like to hit that state it's like okay all I have to do is kind of just dang it I kind of just have to think in some of the more important things. Let's say like being the engineer class, I don't have to like be like, okay, let me figure out like where to put these things. I'll do a lot of things naturally. It's like, okay, let me shoot here, or if I'm playing turret whip with engineer class, like the engineer, can I not do that? This is annoying me. With engineer when I'm playing turret whip, which you have to hit your turret with a shotgun, which is just what you do with that. When I'm doing things like that, it allows me to. There's a way to come up here. I'm a little stupid. Um, like you're not thinking about too much like okay there's some enemies there turret up here turret there whatever when you're building a class like you put the thoughts there or some of the other things is like okay let's call in these things here but a lot of it you're still relying on intuition. You're not having to just put insane amounts of like thought to the point of where it's like you're overwhelmed. You don't have enough mental capacity to do these things. You're just putting the thought in just because that's what you need to do. um, Honestly at this point in time I think I'm just talking out of ass but who fucking cares. um Dude, I came from this area, correct? No, there's arrows pointing to go this direction. Yep. Okay. Cool. Am I stupid? I think I am. I think I am. Cause I did not come from this area. Why did it? I think it did come from this area. Was there arrows leading here, or am I stupid? No, there's arrows right there. Um, I think in general I might just be stupid. Um, maybe I should just follow this. Or is this where I came from? God, this happens to me way too much. Being turned around completely because there's bodies here, there's this here. That kind of gave me the weird sinking feeling. I did come from here. Ah, I should have followed the zeros. I am stupid. Maybe it all circles around and I'm even dumber than I think. But I don't know, like games like this. When I say games like this, it reminds me of the stupid Sans Kids like you should be burning in hell. Times like the kids like you should be burning in hell. One step left now. It's almost time. Do get back. I don't remember the song. But it's stronger than you, and I think it's really funny to think about again. Because when I say that, I've just always come back to that thought and idea of like, there's one step left now. Oh, okay. I have definitely not been here before. This opens the door. Very, very cool. I think the problem I have is I just want to use this gun. Like I want to use just an automatic rifle based gun instead of the shotgun. I don't like shotguns. I think that's the problem with boomer shooters is that they love shotguns and I just don't like them. Don't like them. And part of I guess what's really weird is Doom Eternal. I actually didn't hate them as much as I do because like with this game they're not that bad, but like I just don't really care for them. And that's why I don't even use turret whip that much in Deep Dark Galactic. When I use the shotguns, I use turret whip, but like, I don't usually use shotgun in Deep Rock Galactic, which is just 'cause I don't like shotguns, and it makes this game like obviously boomer shooters. You want to have the variety of guns, you want to do these different things, but honestly, I've never played a lot of boomer shooters. So I don't even know if you need to. I think that there's probably enough ammo for this gun just to use this gun, especially on this difficulty. It doesn't seem to be um too much of a problem to just kind of forget about these other things. You know, every single time I do that, I think I get punished for it, and I don't necessarily know if I am or I'm not. But like that has to have been a bad choice, but it's so much fun. This chainsword is a little bit too much fun. Like there, it's like I died there, so I don't think there's invulnerability. I think I might play a different game. Here, pretty soon. Is this? Okay, yeah, this is up here, so I better go down here. Nope, this is. I think I'm a little stupid. I do think I need to go over here. Because then this is. Nope, okay, I'm going back over here. And I'm gonna hope that I'm not stupid. Okay, there we go. It went down here. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I hate this weird stuff. We'll get it. But which I'd much prefer not to be a shotgun, but I think it's probably the only one of the only guns like shotguns that I actually really enjoy, just because of it. It shoots slow as shit, but man, do you feel like you're shooting a fucking tank around, mainly because it is like a fucking tank round. Um, like you get blown back by it, and it's just kind of a fun one to mess with. But dude, chainsword's so much fun. Can I block with this? No. But it does slow down time, and it does allow me to get closer to things. Dude, this is actually so much fun. This stupid chainsaw. The slowing down time is such a good feature. It's just like I think that like what Doom Eternal makes me feel good about is just the way you get ammo and health and armor is so. I know there's a game like that. I believe I forget if it's Ultra Kill or Turbo Overkill. But like it just allows you to play these more intense close up, more just run at these people and make worse decisions. Because like honestly, I could play more tactically, but if I was going to be playing more tactically, I wouldn't be playing, you know, the Moose Shooter. But I guess the part of the problem is that like maybe I could just be better at the game and I wouldn't have to worry about these problems. But that's also me being, because like you could just say like, yeah, oh, it's a skill issue. It's like sure, it is a skill issue, but how is that helpful to talk about it being a skill issue when I already know? And it doesn't help because I can't just like gain that skill from nothing. I actually have to put in the work and take time or whatever. So even like this, I don't like playing multiplayer games anymore. It's just like it's a skill issue. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. What am I supposed to do about it then? Just get better, just magically get better at the game in the matter of seconds. Sure, that's reasonable. It's a reasonable expectation out of an individual is just to instantly get better from video games in a matter of seconds of playing it. Or in just like, oh, just because you tell me I'm doing bad, it's like, oh yes, it's very reasonable to just get better at the game. But just because this individual said to, I do concur. But all right, I'm done in this area. I don't need to look for more health. I think that like it's fine if I die. Let's see, I'm looking for a key somewhere. Okay, why did I just let the guy sneak up on me? Okay. Where am I at? Okay, there is this outside area, most likely going somewhere. Where am I? Okay. You know, it would be much nicer if my brain didn't like shut down in these areas, because I just no clue where to go. Um, oh yeah, I mean, there's a key right here. I'm stupid. You know that would make. I was expecting there to be a longer path to find the key, but no, if it's just right there, I think it's gonna make my life a lot easier. But also, it's weird to think that that area was a secret. I'm not sure what's so secretive about that area, but wow, look at that. I don't know. I kind of just want to do riskier plays just because of the sake of it being more. It's also like I think like one thing that makes me like what is it Payday 2 was just getting the big armor and big guns and just being like I can tank more than I should like be able to tank, and so I'm just gonna sit here tanking fucking everything. Which is like kind of like I could just put this in a game on easy and just like try to just run through enemies, but I don't want it to be too easy. I just want to, I don't know. I think that like this game doesn't. It does the game well. It just I'm guessing I'm expecting too much Doom Eternal from a game that isn't Doom Eternal. I could also just boot up Doom. I could just re-download and boot up Doom Eternal and just play Doom Eternal if I really wanted to. But I think that I don't know. This game is fun, but I'm just like wanting to just be able to be like, oh yes, let me use my melee to like get back health instantly, and it's not what happens. I will say the melee for the movement is really fun because it slows down things. You teleport, it's great, but it's not always the perfect thing to use. Let's see. I feel like this is a fighting arena. I wonder if there'll be fighting in this very fighting arena looking area. Oh, 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 cool. Immense purge, got it. Heavy bolter, very cool. Oh, what hit me? Oh, it's that thing. Okay, this is a fun gun. This is a fun gun. You can't just hand me things like this and just tell me like have at it. Have at the what the fuck I'm saying anymore. Uh, what fun. Okay, maybe this game, maybe I spoke too early about being like I wanted more of these other ones. Cause like, hey, I don't like shotguns. This is what I wanted. I wanted something like this. What the heck? Oh, it slowed down time. Shooting everything. All right, dude. What the? Oh, a Terminator Chaos Armor. Doesn't matter. He's gone. He gone. What is the secret? Does it really matter? I have just infinite ammo. Does it matter if I just continue to just shoot at enemies? Does not matter. Got it. Okay. Okay, there's a Terminator. Is he gone? Dude, I like guns like this too much. This is why I like the heavy class in what was the in Deep Rock Galactic, because you just kind of sit there and fire at things with the it's just any of your weapons. The one that doesn't have to reload is a fun one, but this one this one's just like you don't have to reload, you just got to find the ammo for it, dude. And it does damage. Damn it. Okay. Maybe I should have played more intentionally. But is it fun doing whatever I want with this cuz it's big funny gun? Yeah, absolutely. All right, give me the enemies to kill. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be using that here. I think that's part of the problem. Is like I don't want to have to worry about like I think Deep Rock Galactic does it okay to where it's like I don't want to worry about the ammos like I'm using here, but I still like just the ability just to be like, okay, I get to use whatever ammo I'm using just because I want to use it. But that's also just me being like, infinitely childlike when it comes to just like, I want to do whatever I want to do. Instead of actually having to like, I want to like get good in the game, and the concept I want to get good in the game. It's like, well then, play a different game. Play a game, make your own game, where you can do your own things, where you don't have to worry about, like running out of ammo of your specific gun, and you just have to just, you get to use the same gun over and over and over again, just your favorite gun or guns. You get to just do that forever. You don't have to worry about any of that. It'd be great, but you know. Uh, I must get out of here. Shit. Do we want to continue playing this game? Fun game, but do I want to continue playing this? It's not a bad game again, but look at these other games in my Steam library. I could continue playing Bolt Gun. I could play some Deep Rock Galactic. I don't know. I think one reason why I don't play Deep Rock Galactic is it feels like an investment to play into. Which is like I have to play the map and I have to get through all of the missions. The same thing for Helldivers is like, okay, you want to like actually complete the missions. Like for a time I just played Deep Rock Galactic. I would even like have missions set. I would just like play missions for the sake of playing them. Just not even doing much. Which I could just put this in horde mode and just do that. There's also, you know what, let's go to main menu. Let's go to horde mode. Completed difficulty horde mode. Pay glorious to the emperor by slaughtering the heretic hordes. Because I know you can do options, accessibility, and invulnerability. No, give all weapons, infinite ammo, screen shake. You know what? Disable damage, screen flash. Disable charge impact pausing. Disable chainsword pausing, chainsword cutting mode. Repeated tap. Hold input. No input automatic. Repeated tap. Okay, hold input. Unlock all levels. Main menu background. Red purge filter. Disable warp parallax effects. Servo skull display time. You know what? Let's try this. Let's try this continue on this. It's probably going to make it easier, but... Okay, let's see. I want to see what this is. Obviously, there's infinite ammo, so it doesn't really matter. What I do with these things. You know, it's kind of funny because it's like crushing the game. It's like obviously it's like, oh, if you want to cheat the game, then just play with invulnerability and not care. Oh, you can just sit there with it. Okay, I didn't realize with repeated tap. This makes a lot more sense now. Because like I didn't know you could just completely just sit there with the like chain just. Okay, you could just sit there doing that. Got it. Until it dies or until it kicks you away. It's really funny because I have infinite ammo right now and it doesn't really matter, but like... Can I, I probably shouldn't be just sitting there taking all that damage. I should probably be running around getting health and moving and not just... What the where did you motherfuckers just hit me from? I genuinely was confused about that hit. I can also just go into horde mode and shoot everything. I unlocked all the guns. What guns are there? Not unlocked all the guns on my own volition, but like, or my own merit, but like I unlocked the guns because it was an option I could do. And hey, it's not a not a bad gun. What the fuck is this, bro? The guy fucking disappeared, legitimately. Okay, let's see. What is it? Is this the? Okay, got it. This The big fucking gun. Got it. Okay, very cool. What the... Dude. Like, I know this is probably made for the late game, and you're probably just supposed to, like, not have this now. But it's kind of funny that I unlocked all the guns and put infinite ammo, because, like, this is stupid. Genuinely. You know, obviously, it's like, this is what makes games like this trivial, is when you get stupid things like this, and you just don't care. You're like, alright, yeah. You know, maybe I've made it too trivial. Maybe I will not become bored of this game because there is infinitely big gun. Or what the fuck is this thing? It's the same shit. Basically, okay, no, there's actually I didn't like read that there's a magazine. All right, enemies, where are you at? All right, well, you know, I'll go grab these for the sake of just grabbing them. Where are you, enemies? Did I defeat them all by just hitting them with a big fucking laser? Hey, look, no, there's the Terminator. See, how long does this take to destroy that thing? Cool, he's dead. Like, you know, yeah, no, I think unlocking all the weapons, giving me myself infinite ammo was a dumb decision that does make it too easy and does make me want to change to a different game. But is this really funny? Abso-fucking-lutely. I'm a little bit... I don't even need to be invulnerable, particularly just to make this a trivial fight, just because I just hold down the gun button. But... who knows with this? Who knows, who knows? Let's see, what game do I want to play instead of this one? Just because I'm going to transition to not being, you know, too OP. Honestly, I just kind of want to get past this mission. Even though I can honestly unlock all... Because again, the accessibility, which is kind of nice to just be able to unlock all the missions instead of having to sit here and do whatever. I can also, like, if I ever wanted to sit here and play the game while talking, I could just do horde mode. Which honestly, I might try a little bit of the horde mode and turn off infinite ammo, just go horde mode. Um, get have at least all the guns just know horde mode for the sake of actually playing the game with a ounce of difficulty. But let's just finish this. Well, let's just finish this level first. Let's actually play. I don't even know why. I don't necessarily need to finish the level. Do I want to? Yes. Is there a fucking reason? Who knows? Okay, it's still funny to think about to me that, I don't know, because like when you get things like, oh, unlock all the guns, you get, this kind of stupid, and infinite ammo makes you even dumber, but it does make it like everything actually trivial. Again, this is, I don't know. I could just actually just try the horde mode and turn off infinite ammo to actually play the game like a normal human being. But I'm like, I'm almost done with the mission. I could just wait till I'm done with the mission. This kind of feels like me trying to unlock or trying to get more points for the Doom Eternal pass. I remember when just trying to grind that pass to get the cosmetics from the, or trying to grind XP to do the cosmetics from the pass thing. And I just was like, yep, infinite ammo and whatever from all the things when you unlock it. It's like, doesn't make the game better. It just means that I get to just spam laser, laser, laser. Wow, a Chaos Terminator, Purge finish. Wow. Wow, what a difficult game. Okay, cool. Okay. Take me to the menu. Take me to the menu. Yes. No, it's gonna just take me to the next mission. I forgot about that. Quit, main menu, options, accessibility, and, infinite ammo, turn that off, head bobbing, screen shake, yeah, okay. Back, horde mode, confirm, Select difficulty. Why does it say previous best? I don't think I've played a horde mode before. I hate these little guys because it's harder to hit them with the chainsword, and I love hitting the small fellas with chainsword. Because now he's not on the ground, and I didn't know if I was actually gonna hit him with that one. Did he just replenish? Oh, do I have to go there to... This goes... Let's see, where are the enemies? Kind of hopping around, shooting chainsaw and shit. Oh, so maybe you actually have to progress the horde mode? How does this work? So maybe you kill those things, you get something unlocked. So it seems like you actually do stuff instead of be completely passive and just shoot things. Which I honestly thought was just the horde mode's intention, just shoot shit. Which is like, I guess it's like fun for a little bit just to shoot things, but maybe having an action intention to your game makes a lot of fucking sense. But you know, it's just, who knows with me? Where? Oh, there are fellas. Look at you guys. Round one complete. Got it. Okay. Okay, and then this one. Kind of just go. Okay. Oh, if you don't unlock all the weapons, it actually just you kind of progress with the weapons. Okay. Interesting. You actually have to progress like a normal human being. Honestly, I don't think I need to continue recording. I don't think I'm going to use any of this in an actual video. I don't, you know, there's no real video from just playing the game. I'm not saying anything more insightful. I think I'm more focused when not playing a video game and not being distracted. But even then, I think I've exhausted all routes of like conversation when it comes to the previous topic. But who knows? Yeah, it's actually so much fun just going over there and just hitting trains or just holding it on them. I definitely feel the level of fun in this game. The heavy bolter, dude. I wish I had infinite ammo for heavy bolter, man. I don't even need all the guns, just heavy bolter, bro. That's what I like about Spacewalk Deathwing is that just you just have infinite ammo. You don't need to worry about any of that shit. Like heavy fucking bolter. Heavy bolter. Heavy water. Heavy water. Do complete. I was actually right where I needed to be. I'm stupid. Um, this time they're gonna give me the plasma. I think, yeah, it's the plasma right now. Heavy bolter is so slow. But I like these heavy guns though. Maybe this is one of the games you can just kind of like fucking not give a shit and just use whatever gun and just melee everything else. It's like, I'm not gonna use anything except for the heavy bolter. Fuck you, shotgun. Fuck you, bolter. Fuck you, plasma gun. I'm just meleeing shit and heavy bolter. But it doesn't seem like I'm in an abundance of ammo, though, and it doesn't seem like I'm running out of ammo too quickly, but I will say this game is kind of what I wanted from, this, Warhammer Space Marine 1, where it's just, I kind of want the ability just to shoot things and not have to care. Shoot enemies, chain sword, have a lot of fun. I think probably Armor Space Marine probably does it in the way that I would probably intentionally want to do a little bit more, but I don't know. Cause you get health based on Sparring Champion. Get the thing away from me. Get it away from me. Is it right here? The fuck is that thing? Okay, yeah, I can't just use the same weapon. But heavy water. Just go like that. I really wish maybe they would get you some health and you'd actually like have, maybe it might be broken if you do that. I actually don't know, because like you maybe you get to use it a lot less if you could actually get there, but if we just want to have that of just killing shit and actually utilize it in that sort of way, but dude, it's so much fun using this stupid chain sword. Like, man, I could be more efficient, or I could just hold, chainsword weapon, bruh. Please give me heavy bolt. I want heavy bolt rounds. I want heavy bolt rounds. I don't even know what the fuck this thing is. Oh, you can. Oh, I didn't even know you can do the right click. Right click is itself just the melee. Okay, I didn't even need to rebind my keys then. It was here all along. Got it. I'm just a little stupid. Please, no heavy bolter. Got it. Okay. God, no heavy bolter ammo. I'm just kind of now running around the map. I think the enemies maybe are a little too slow to follow me. Where are they? Where are these little shits? These little guys. Hey, look, there's health. I need that. Yeah, I'm actually. Maybe if I actually slow down and not do that. Oh, they gave me infinite ammo. And I took it too early, but that's fine. I'm just gonna shoot things with my heavy bolt because I love this stupid gun. What a good little gun. Yeah, you can't only give me 20 rounds after that. Come on, that's mean. Where are the guys? Oh, the one's right there. Oh, there we go. Look, our round's complete. That's kind of annoying. This is where I can get more ammo. Nope, this is where I get a key. This is when I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the heavy bolter now. No, give me a fucking key. I don't want a key. I want heavy bolter rounds, bro. Oh, these little shits. I hate these things. Yeah, I hate the stupid frog things a little more. I think this is the bane of my existence. Um, these little shits. The fact that I know I could just hold it down and now just... The fuck is happening? I wonder, it'd be interesting if, like, I can... it'd be funny if I just start learning things about the game that I should have already, like, not say I should have already known, but, like, oh, if I melee enough and do these things, maybe I do gain a benefit from just doing all of that, and it's not all pointless, and it actually gives you something other than just melee, and it gives you a sense of invulnerability, or is that just a ability I activated because when I killed the thing, it magically gave it to me? So it wasn't the fact that I was meleeing things, the fact that it's just... Wait, okay, you gotta be serious. Can't be things like that. Oh, there we go. Here's the heavy bolter rounds. Okay, there's Plague Toad. Goodbye, Plague Toad. You're dead. I might be dead here too, but like lesser Plague Toad? I don't know, man. You kind of gave me heavy bolter, and I wasted all of its rounds. So I'm fucking stupid. Dude, what is happening? Why is my screen like this? I wish there's a way to just actually know what I'm doing instead of just running doing nothing. What's really weird is that, like, when I see people join, like, I'm not sure if it's like just one person randomly joining and leaving relatively quickly to the stream. I just kind of noticed, like, oh, there's one person who joined, and then one person who left, and then they join again. It's like they leave. It's like, huh. I don't mind. It's just like I see it happening. I'm like, is this? I don't like. Usually I have nobody joining. It's also because it's probably the content I'm doing is like when you're on just chatting, you shouldn't expect people to join, but you know, okay. Dude, the heavy bolter's too much fun, man. Like, you can't beat a fucking heavy bolter with its fun. I don't know, man. This is the problem when I like try to look for games is like games that don't have to worry. You don't not having to worry about ammo where it's like it's not like a pain. So like again, Space Hulk Deathwing is such a fun game because it's like you're not actually you have like basically infinite not basically you just infinite ammo and it's just about like reloading and finding good positions and but oftentimes you end up having to play with the same gun over and over and again when you playing Space Hulk Deathwing. This game like yeah you switch guns and or like in that game you generally play the same gun just because it's not easily accessible to play other guns. Because it's like, oh, do you want to play the minigun? Well, guess what? Like, you're going to suck at range and you can't really do much about it. It's also this is also just the way that the game is, I guess, designed. So it's like, infinite ammo, having to reload is just part of it for Space Hulk Deathwing. Um, as part of probably that's part of the game design, so they probably manage the game around it. And honestly, again, I want to find more games that manage the game around having infinite ammo because like things like I'm a big Fallout player, and a lot of the time, like especially early in the game, you have to worry about ammo. Like it kind of would make me not really enjoy some of when I played I forget that game's name now, but when playing Borderlands, there we go. Borderlands a lot was like some of it was just the fact that like I'm just having to sit there with um with just melee weapons and then no ammo for anything else. And I'm like, well, this is kind of annoying. Like I think that's kind of the natural restriction with some games is that like you just have limited ammo. Because like oh like if you're at range you have limited ammo. It makes sense for those things. But like I guess some games are more like let's say horror survival horror games are way more intention based like that. And some part of the economy of um like in things like Fallout, it's like you can get a really strong weapon, but you have limited ammo. It's like, yeah, that's kind of makes sense with things like the Fat Man, whatever. But at a certain point in time, it's like having to manage ammo. I love getting to the point where you don't have to worry about ammo, but like getting to there is a little bit more annoying. Like it's kind of like just imagine they gave you it's like oh solution melee, bro. Just play melee weapons, which is not incorrect. It's just not the solution. It's like I love just being able to just kill things um non melee. I love just being able to go and not have to like melee things just because I have no ammo or because like again I don't have the ammo of the weapon that I'm wanting to play. Oh, that's gonna explode on me. But that's also again I'm like such a like big baby about it. It's like I need my things since I don't need. I'm just I want more ammo in my Fallout games. And it's like I don't know. I think I'm complaining about nothing that needs to be complained about. It's really not a problem. I could probably just try to curate games that like actually have that. I can also download mods. Like if I was really needing or wanting to like make the game better in Fallout games, just like I don't want to worry about ammo because worrying about ammo is kind of annoying and it's like whatever. I could play games you don't have to worry about it, or I can just download mods where you don't have to worry about it. But I don't do that, so it's my own problem. If I actually really wanted to solve that problem, I'd solve it. But what the heck? Little guy. Dude, again, I love the heavy bolter because it's just how fun it is. It makes you slower. Just a big gun, lot of ammo. But this horde mode is kind of fun. I'm just kind of just killing things, just kind of just going with chainsword moment. But it does make you wish for like that style of freedom in like what was it called Doom Eternal. I think the only problem with Doom Eternal that I have is that like the the chainsaw has like limited things and obviously the chainsaw would be broken if you just had infinite chainsaw, but like being able to replenish your ammo like I think the way you replenish your health is a great way, but being able to replenish your ammo without having to worry about some things being limited. Like obviously that's part of the way that the game is intentionally made so that you actually have to worry about playing the game instead of just like, oh, I'm running out of ammo, let me go do the thing to get ammo. It's like I think it'd be cool if they can make that. That's also just the way the game works. I don't know. I think I'm being not say pedantic, but just being again a crybaby about nothing that actually matters. A video game I don't actually play anymore, so who fucking cares what I think about it? Let's see. I've been streaming for like almost 2 hours. It's really weird. Is that like there's times where it's like I've been streaming for more, and I'm not like too eager to get off or too eager to not stream. I've been wanting to do other things. I think streaming for a time. I think develop like having a video is great. That's kind of like the big intention, honestly, from streaming right now. Because like I'm not gonna bring viewers in from streaming because it's just not what you're doing. It's not like most people who come in and actually watch are friends, and so I'm not bringing in new viewers just from streaming. So probably it's like uploading. It's like streaming, uploading, and then hoping people come in, which is not really the case in which is happening. So it's really weird to think about like how like I guess like the path of growth is just maybe different from what I thought about before. I don't know. I think that maybe if I actually started streaming and making content before TikTok and these other things were as big and influential on careers, maybe I'd be further, or maybe that's also a delusion I've set for myself that maybe I'm blaming a outside thing that is not actually the thing that It's causing me problems, so who knows? But that's just kind of what the way I do things, honestly. Dude, honestly, I love the idea of just hitting that with chainsword, bro. Dude, that's so stupid that I can do things like that. What the fuck was that? I'm gonna die here, but like I'm sitting here for the bit, bro. It's not bad. Do I want to go back to doing something else? I think I've been having very short streams, which I don't mind. And I think I'm gonna end stream here. I'm gonna definitely start recording. Probably just gonna end stream. 20 minutes of just that. That's kind of fun. Sanctum of Slaughter. I do appreciate if anyone actually like comes to watch VOD wise or other things like that. I do appreciate that. I will be uploading YouTube video. I forgot I should probably be serving if I don't think I'd get any views on YouTube. I don't know. I think that I feel like more and more things feel more and more futile, and content creation feels very very futile. As I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. I don't think that I think less and less are possible. But who cares? So gonna try. I will be heading out. Thank you for observing my content. If you are watching this on VOD, and I will be uploading a video from the beginning conversation, and you have a good whatever.